Morning, Alexis. Into the Smithy. Hi there. I forgot my hat today. Everybody gets to see just how messy my head is. Hey, Shane. And hopefully I don't catch my head on fire. That's enough of a pre-bend. You'll see in a second. I'm already ready to start working this morning. Alexis knows that getting all this so I'm already ready to work this morning takes a lot of effort. So I'm pretty happy about that fact. So let's switch you over here. I haven't got a whole lot to say yet this morning. So staring over at me in the back of my head and the bald spot there ain't gonna do anybody any good. I caught some of your show this morning, Alexis, but I definitely will have to go back and actually watch it because I was listening. You guys, especially, I'm pretty impressed with Yamez. I don't think he would expect it. Hey, Thomas, good morning. I don't think he would expect it, but I'm pretty impressed with him. He wasn't Mr. Jocular. He was Mr. History Man today. I think it's time to get my forge just a little bit longer. Because I'm definitely not getting the whole blade hot, and I want the whole blade hot so I can start beveling it all the way down. And I can play the whole back and forth in and out of the fire business, which is what I'm doing at the moment. But why do that when you got to dial a forge? Good. Looking fuzzy still. If you mean you literally are seeing a fuzzy picture, you know, folks need to validate that. Otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to get any less fuzzier. All right. I may have overbent it. We'll see. Still plenty of opportunity for bevel there. And yeah, I'm using a glove today. I don't feel like trying to handle this with tongs again until I absolutely have to. Tailbone was feeling better yesterday. What did you do? Figured I may get into the shop today, but my 80-pound pup decided to ram his spine into it last night while I slept. Oh my goodness. Yeah, somebody tried to cuddle too hard. Getting a bit of reverb from the mic on the hammer bits. Okay, we'll turn it down. I know I was a bit loud in here. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if that's any better, Shane. Normally, I speak up just a little bit, and that way I can turn down the gain, and the mic isn't. I mean, the hammer blows aren't such a problem then. How you doing this morning, anyway, Greg? So I turned my anvil around because I was watching. Who was it I was watching? I can't remember now. Anyway, it was a smith that was um, having to do some cutoff, or anyway, and he had his cutoff hardy in, and he talked about the safety concern of having your cutoff forging while having your cutoff hardy in, and what he said was, let me just back this up just a little bit. What he said was the reason he has his horn on the right is so he can forge over here and not risk loss of limb or injury of any sort by leaving it in there, so that way he could finish his forging and cut it off all in one heat. I think is what I recall. And the name of the smith, I'm going to pull this up because I love his channel. Luffick Arts, I think, is the name. Let's go here. Let's go here. And now I have to scroll because I've watched all his stuff so far. Let's go alphabetical instead of... Actually, no, probably easier to go to my library. Nope, don't want that. There we go. View all. Get past Bo. There it is. Luffolk Crafts. Luffolk Crafts. And he does principally beginner smithing kind of projects on that channel with a Nordic flair. So, but the other reason is I realized that my bevels weren't in the place I need them to be able to do this work effectively. When I say bevel, I'm talking about the beveled edge of my anvil. If you recall, last week I was struggling to try and figure out how in the world I'm going to work on this anvil with my bevels where they were on the left side. Now they're on the right side, and that's no longer a concern. So, okay. We'll get all that straight again. We're pretty close to done. We got a little bit more to do on the tip here. Thank you, Jurgen. Yeah, see, and what do I know, right? I'm just trying to figure this stuff out. So now that I've come up with a valid reason, which is where the bevels are on my anvil, as to where I need to actually do my forging, then yeah. Hey, Jurgen number 2. We'll pull this back in again and focus in on the work I'm doing. You guys hear me okay? Did I fix the anvil ring problem? Bruce the shop dog's wandering around here. Keep an eye out for him. Try not to overheat the camera, so every now and then I'm going to put my hand in the way of the camera so I can tell if we're getting too much heat in there. Shouldn't be. Hey Rob, good morning. Let's try not to burn up my knife. Now my block is over here. I have to remember that. Bruce, who has very little fur but a lot of long hair, said, "Oh crap, there's sparks. Let's go and work it from this side this time." And there will be some final grinding on this, obviously. We'll see if I do the grinding in front of you using a grinding wheel on a or some other way. Because I do own a grinder. I just don't like having to pull it out. It's inconvenient. We got just the tiniest amount of twist in there. I got to work on the tip here in a second anyway. But we're actually pretty close to done with the beveling. Some teeny tiny taps. We'll have to put this through some normalization rounds. All right, that's pretty straight. Let's work on the tip. We'll put it spine down this time. Turn this my way so I don't have the glare and I can actually see what you guys are saying. Hey, Daniel. How's your weekend going? Coke is amazing stuff. It's barely hot unless air is being blown over it. We had an extremely abundant harvest of walnuts. I got to get out there and get some more. Up off the ground. And it's almost like grabbing up those hot walnuts after I've baked them to dry them off in the oven. When I grab one of these pieces of Coke. If it's not red hot Coke, it's like warm enough to let you know it's not to hold on to it long, but you can walk right over these coals. Not when they're red hot, though. Small area now. Heats up real easy. I'm going to go ahead and put a bevel right on the tip there so it has a pointy area I can poke into a piece of meat. There we go, you can see it. Hopefully you can see it. All right, let's get it warm again. See if I can add a little bit more in here. We'll go ahead and put this in the fire in such a way as to try to keep the tip out of it. Hey, Kevin. Welcome to the party. I'm thinking right now, in my head, that the next thing I have to worry about is, well, we'll go ahead and turn it around and make a leaf. At which point I definitely have to will have to, let's see if I can turn the blowing down to just the front. I'll definitely have to use tongs because I'm not holding on to the blade that I just worked and got too hot. There we go. Now let's take a look at that versus my trial run. That's fascinating that I must have kept more bulk in it before because the blade is a bit fatter. That's why I keep working it right now. I'd like to pull it out just a little bit more. So clearly it's not exactly the same design because of the way I did the tip. And that's fine. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same design, but I really liked the way that one looked, so. I'm going to see about straightening it back out because we're not going to get a whole lot. Well, we're going to do a little more beveling in there. We're going to flip it over and do it from the other side. So we'll see. Go ahead and put it face up again. Pretty close to straight. Pretty close. This isn't a hand grenade though, so. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Now if I could just get everything central. That's not bad. Hey, Robert. Oh, wait a minute. You already been here, so you were just saying hi to Jurgen. Alright, I think that's the forging of the blade. I don't think there's really anything more to do there. Next is just a bit of grinding. Not a whole lot, though. That's the whole point. This The thing I was thinking about is, where am I going to quench this? I've got a nice big thing of peanut oil here I can work with. I can heat it up. But I don't have a good bucket for the purpose of presenting that effort. Container for that purpose, I should say. The container either needs to be long enough for this whole kit and caboodle, and there's not really a reason, as far as I know, to actually harden this stuff back behind the bolster, and only the blade really, and then temper it so that it doesn't snap off from the bolster. So better would be just to quench it going up and down, I think. So let me go ahead and warm it back up and straighten it up a bit. Does the hammering... So my wife always found her sister's drumming to be very relaxing. So I don't know, maybe hammering is relaxing too. Oh, check it out. I ended up in the same boat as Yamez, but this time on Facebook, not YouTube. I haven't had a problem yet on YouTube. If somebody or the automated system thinks that my hammering is copyrightable. So, gotta enjoy the fact that something thinks the hammering is musical and sounds like somebody else's music. It's like we all probably work at a similar rhythm. There we go. I think what I did on the front is called a distal taper, but I'm not a knife smith. So, distal taper with a false edge. That's looking pretty good to me. We're going to leave the blades part alone good. I didn't bend it in trying to clean it. All right. Do my best not to polish off all of that. Because it actually leaves that quality that I think my friend will enjoy, seeing that it was forged, hand forged. But we will address this edge quality. And I think that's good. Let's compare it with the original. The design is obviously a different design, but back here we'll have the same features we had before. The length of the blade is about the same, so we'll get that curved, I don't know, ricasso, sort of. Anyway, the part that where the bolster goes into the blade, we'll get that curved business that I was shooting for. I understand now just from forging why it exists. It's a natural flow of things. I'll end up, it's going to be just a hair shorter maybe. We'll see after I do the grinding, but I don't know. We'll see. I might swoop that, take off the, bring the point more up again, more like I'm used to seeing for professional cutlery. I just saw that that's not quite right, so I'm going to have to rebrush it because I want to get that right. That's twisty right there at the back. I don't like it. If you want it perfect, make it perfect. That's what they say. We'll go ahead and see if I can heat up just that area. Doubtful, but we can try. The romance of the anvil. Use the vise. In this case, I don't know. I mean, the vise could definitely get things straight, but because there are multiple planes, they're parallel planes, but because the widths vary, I don't know if the vise would do the trick or not. And I do have a guillotine. What did I need the guillotine? Oh, yeah, I used the guillotine to set down the bolster area, but I used a rounded guillotine. I will grind the sharper parts so that the scales fit on it nicely. I was watching, surprise, I'm watching blacksmithing videos. But I was watching Bjorn Amon make a bit for a type of jackhammer kind of thing. And he said exactly the same thing, that you forge it in, it makes for a stronger result. But as soon as you start adding sharp corners, you start weakening all that. So, yeah, that's where the problem is, right there. Hi, Rosie. There we go. That's better. Not all wonky anymore. Somebody's getting chased by the cops. That's all that was needed there. Let's see if the vise can get the tiniest waving imperfections out of there. Dial my forge a little larger again. Hey, Eric. Hey, Steven. So, attempt 2 at the barbecue knife. So, it's going really well. I've got plenty of thickness in here in the tang now for putting scales on it, which I didn't have before. It's almost like having a tiny little press that I always forget that I have. I put a bid in on a 3-ton press and ended up in a bidding war at the end, so I let it go. Yeah, I can't tell if that actually made it better or not. Yeah, it seems pretty darn straight, so maybe it did. Come over here to the radius I got there. Okay, time to leave that end alone. How am I going to hold this now? Let's grab the... All right, let's get your hand away from the hot part. There we go. That should do the trick as long as I don't slide my hand to the hot part. We can dial this. Oh, it's already dialed down. Good. I have to move this just a hair. There we go. Hey, Kevin, and second Kevin. I don't know if I'd won that bidding war. I still would have gotten a really good deal. It's just a matter of I didn't. I put a limit on how much I was going to spend, and it would have been a great deal. I just could. Roos, no. She hasn't done anything to you for a change. You leave her alone before she does. That's right. All the warping opportunities. There are plenty. Yeah, the fact is, I probably could have put doubled my bid. My bid was like $350 for the 3-ton press. I mean, that would have been a steal, I think. I mean, I don't know enough about things, but I went and looked it up, and it seemed like it would have been a steal. Even if I had doubled my bid, it would have been a steal. But the fact is, this guy was going back and forth with me, and I figured if he's going to keep challenging my bid, then one of two things was happening. Either the bidding house had somebody that was saying, no, it shouldn't go for that low, and was hoping I would just keep bidding it up, because this was at the end of the auction. Like, the auction kept getting extended just because the bidding war had happened. Or that guy wanted it more than I did, and I'm fine with that. There's the fact is, if there's an auction that has one of these in it, there'll be another auction that'll have one of these in it. So, this will definitely be normalized before we're done. I will heat the blade back up again at the end, and then just leave it in the coals covered up. At this point, we're working on the what do we call it? Somebody gave me a good one last week. You know what? I don't think that way looks as good as this way. Let's see. Yeah. I could actually make it work. We're going to take a sidetrack here for a second and turn these into pseudo blade tongs. Set that up there. Put the tongs in the fire. Three times. That's I watched Bjorn do that with the bit that he made, and if I remember correctly, he had. I mean, I know for a fact he has an amazing oven. I don't have one of those. But he brought it up to like 2,000 degrees. Then he did it a little less the next time and a little less the next time. I don't have that level of control, but I mean, if it requires bringing it up to temp and then letting it cool down, and bringing it up to temp and letting it cool down, I'm capable. Yes. Hashtag I'm not a bladesmith. But as I was saying to somebody else, and this is the fun part, some of the other tools we make require the same processes. So, yes, I'm not a bladesmith, but any of us that do this stuff, as soon as we made our first striking tool, we had to learn how to do this. So, or I should say, struck tool. Okay. In case you are curious as to what I'm doing, we'll bring you into this view, and you'll see the goal. That light does a pretty good job on the anvil. We'll pull it over this way this time, though. The goal is to make offset bits, offset tongs, so that the blade isn't hitting the tong and then perhaps accidentally warping. I went through all the trouble of trying to make it straight. It would seem silly for me to warp the dang thing, right? Just because I'm not holding it right. That's not a bad idea. See, I think normalizing makes a lot of sense to do, though, because you want all of the material to be what's the right word? Of a type, of a grain structure. There's the right word. So let's go over here. do this a minute. I think all I want to do is bend these that way and then that way. That way. And that way. And then get them lined up again. Now they're offset bolt jaw tongs. They're still ugly, but they're still functional, I think. We're going to find out in a second. Yep, they're still functional. I do think I'm going to work on getting them a little closer together, though. There we go. Flip it over. Okay. There we go. Now, I expect these to fail but not today. Not today. Just I expect them to fail. Let's get it hotter again because those are definitely not parallel to the reins. We'll get them parallel to the reins. But there's offset, so the blade can come past without hitting this and hopefully prevent it from bending. Uh-oh, what did Eric say about Ben? Normalize in ash. Unless it's Damascus or Sanmai, then I normalize at least 3 times. What do you do with Sanmai or Damascus? I can always go and buy some vermiculite as well. That's right here at Coastal. Supply place, in case you're from a region that doesn't have coastals. Supply place for animal feed and other farm needs. I don't need 2. I can go down to 1. There we go. Don't need to burn up as much fuel that way. So, just thinking about it some more, I don't know that I can think of where I would find the right kind of container. Be easy enough, though, I think, to go. I gotta look in to see if my scrap has any of this. Find some like 3-inch square, or sorry, 2-inch square or 2-inch round pipe, and then cap it. I've got plenty of material for capping with my my amazing welding skills. Did I say that sarcastically enough? Because it was meant to be very sarcastic. All right, there we go. Getting close. Overdid it. That's okay, because now I can take it, hold parallel, and correct. Nice. All right. These being what they're made of, let's go ahead and quench them. Actually, let's grab the knife. Really? Jack, learn how to use them. Oh, that's beautiful. That works beautifully. Look at that. Yes. Adjusted on the blade. How professional am I? I am a bladesmith? No. We'll go ahead and quench these. They're made out of railroad spikes, so it's not like they're made of a material that is going to snap just because I quenched them. So there's that. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, yeah, and they're not moving around on me either. All right, I should be able to make a leaf on the end now. Finial? Yes, that's it. A decorative finial end, I think, is the terminology somebody more adept, adroit, and other cool words like that said last week. Loose pig. I don't have any pigs yet. Heaven forbid I get a pig. Number one, we'd get the pig because, bacon. But then we'd not want to do anything with it because, pig, pet. It's a dwarf donkey? No, that's for sure. Oh, I got water all over my Mac. Good job. Plastic bucket to hold it in. The heat never translate. Yes, that's what I was going to do too. I'd have to pick up a bucket, and then while I'm out there picking up the vermiculite. That would definitely do the trick. I'm going to go ahead and put that there. I now have offset tongs. I didn't think I would ever have a pair of those, because why would I need them? I'm not a bladesmith. I just play one on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and Twitch and LinkedIn. Wherever you're seeing me, make sure to give a shout out, and it'd be awful nice to hit the like button. I don't need it. I was thinking about it this morning. Let me switch to this screen. This is a good time for deep thoughts by Jack Pines. So I was thinking about it this morning. Why do I do this, right? People wonder, why in the world do you, blacksmith? Why do you then go through the trouble of streaming the blacksmithing? And I would love to say it's for the most altruistic reasons, because I do like to put out good in the world. And but one of the things I have to admit to myself is all of my altruism makes me feel good. They say you get back what you put out in the world, and I fully believe in that. But not necessarily because of karma, but because if you're a good person, doing good things makes you feel good. So if you're a bad person, doing bad things makes you feel good. I don't know why. Anyway, but yeah, I do this because, number one, I love the art form. The art form is incredible to me. And then I do the live streaming, because I've had friends and family ask me, well, what do you do? And I'm like, well, let me show you. And then I realized, while I'm showing, I'm also building community with all y'all, and that's awesome. And makes me feel good. In the meantime, hopefully I'm doing something good for all y'all. It makes it so that there's some place for folks who aren't, steeped in knowledge to come and see that another person not steeped in knowledge just takes a swing at things and goes for it. There's an amazing TikToker out there that I follow who's doing the same thing, and I feel like she is way ahead of me in the game in that she actually. I'm going to pull it up real quick here just so I can make sure she gets the credit she's due. She invents cool things to do in her blacksmithing. Like she's doing a whole series right now on Halloweeny kind of items. She's made I think it's Tomboy Mom Does Stuff, but I'll find out because I've already. Go. No. No. Stop that. Profile. Likes. There we go. Yeah, Tomboy Mom Does Stuff. She got into the blacksmithing and because her son was interested in it, but she's incredible. Is she a better blacksmith than me? I don't think she's more skilled than I am. I don't need to compare that, but that's not the point. The point is a person who is at my level, or maybe even before my level, is more creative than I am. She thinks up cool things to make, and then goes on and makes them and puts them up on TikTok. And I put a message in there in one of hers. She doesn't have a huge following, so go follow her if you got TikTok. But as a result, my messages, oftentimes get a reply from her, and I said to her, she is so creative. Every time I see her make something, I'm like, I wish I thought of that, because it's not a very complex thing, but boy, is it cool. And now I feel like I just have to copy her. So yeah, go give her a follow. But yeah, that's why I do this, is because I enjoy the art form, I enjoy the camaraderie, and I enjoy letting people know that this is an approachable craft. And there are people out there like me who, you can go learn from or appreciate. If you're not going to get into the craft itself, at least go appreciate those who are. So that's why I do it. Daniel, you neither tick nor talk, huh? Kevin only ticks. Take care, Eric. You have a great week, sir. I appreciate you hanging out with us. I don't think I need the glove anymore. It'll probably just make me do something stupid. Instead, we'll go ahead and switch to the tongs. Everybody got Bruce just got a cameo. That's good. We'll go ahead in on here. And we will get to making a leaf. A leaf thingy. A leaf finial. All right. And now I see I warmed up the wrong spot. Let's warm up the right spot. Now I remember why I use number 2 instead of number 1. And you guys don't know what I'm talking about. It's my dial-a-forge. So, for those who haven't been playing been playing the game at home, let me switch to the anvil, which is not really the anvil. If you look down there, as I make everybody seasick, motion sick, you'll see there's a dial. And currently it's set on 1. Most of the time I have it set on 2. And now I remember why, and that's because 1 is way up front here. And I probably could save a lot of fuel if I just kept it on 1 most of the time. We'll go back here. But when it's on 1, I have to think about the fire being way close to me instead of further in. And it really is a very small fire. Literally, it's 1 air port is open. And it does a killer job. There's no doubt that if I crank at the same speed I do for 2 or 3, it's getting some airflow through there. I can slow things down quite a bit, probably. Air pressure being air pressure. You save a lot on fuel. I just haven't exercised that muscle for a bit. And also, the other reason I don't use one as much is I have to be far more aware of what could be getting in the way of the airflow. All right, let's start a taper, shall we? Blade popped out of my holder. Get back on there. Thank you. We're in good shape. There's the tiniest little fold in the end, but this is a leaf. This is not the blade part, so I'm not worried about it. We got ourselves good there. Now normally we put a two-sided taper, right? That's what I was doing, but I wasn't holding it flat. So we're gonna have to do some adjustment, get it flat so we can have a proper two-sided taper. It's sometimes you lose attention to form. Let's we correct for that. Let's take a look. I did put a proper set down on one of these. Okay. It's holding on. All right. Back into the fire. We're not trying to burn horseshoes today. We'll work on that another day. You don't use tongs much, Kevin? Really? All that scrolling you do, and you don't use tongs that much? You can see just how reserved that fire is. It's just right here. All right. We're ready to undo the mistakes I made. We'll go here. We'll lay flat. We'll push that to one side. We'll lay flat. Push that to one side. There we go. Square it up because it should have been square the whole time. Well, rectangle in this case because of what I started with. All right, now we can warm it up. And we'll do our flip it over and do our offsets. Probably from back here, just to do like I do before, or I do a really steep here. It's the same thing. So the issue with the way that just to sum up what I've seen in other places, the issue with doing a leaf the way we typically see it done is they flip to the side that's the same side as the taper has been, on the opposite side of the direction the taper went, and they lay it flat and they do a set down, and then the same thing there. The problem is that can create too sharp a transition that ends up folding over onto the stem. So easy solutions. There's one, bring it back here and do it, and now you've got definitely not a sharp taper. You could also come here and do it. If you do it from here and lift it up real good, you'll do the same thing. So let's get it hot. That would be steampunk Batman burning horseshoes, yes. We're almost cold enough out here where I can come out in steampunk Batman. I just don't know if my wife would appreciate me wearing... I mean, leather is the appropriate material to wear when forging, right? I mean, it's what I'm wearing right now. And my Batman is all leather. But, yeah, I don't know. Have to take it up with her and see. Maybe just for... What day does Halloween fall on this year, anyway? Actually, I have steampunk Batman in a kilt. What typically though, when I do the kilt, I'm doing Robin Hood Batman. Leather. Thanks, Daniel. I wasn't sure about that one. You know what I realized? I haven't dropped anything this whole session. Damn it. I'm still thirsty. Take a minute. Enjoy the moment. Sip some coffee. So how do you add the creepy there, Kevin? Let me guess. A raincoat. Cheers. All right. Let's do this some more. Do you guys enjoy the whoosh when I change scenes? Doesn't matter because I enjoy the whoosh when I change scenes. I don't change scenes too often enough to make it annoying, I hope. That was the reason I bought this theme, is the whoosh. Huh, I didn't know the commuter train went by on Sundays. Oh, au naturel? Yeah, that's pretty creepy there, Kevin. I mean, unless you go to a specific kind of camp that expects that. All right, let's bring it over here. We'll leave a chunk out like that. We'll start setting it down. We'll roll it. Ooh, we bent it. Fixed it. Do. Find where I did it. There we go. The problem is, roll it. I'm not hit where I'm supposed to. Roll it back. Find the spot. Can't say that they're lined up perfectly, but not bad. Not bad. Probably the best I've ever done. All things considered. All right. Yeah, not bad at all. We'll go ahead and heat it back up again and continue. And now we've got a good, so we've got enough of an angle in there that when we go to smashing it flat, it shouldn't end up being a problem. If I need to, I can come in here and give it just a little bit more, just to make sure. We'll go in there and clean it up and do it that way. Last thing I need is for all the work I just put in to be destroyed because I want this decorative finial. Hey, Rob. Yes, as a matter of fact, we're going to put a leaf finial on the end of this barbecue knife that I've just finished the blade work on. Turkey transition. Advertise the whoosh. Yep, we're putting the leaf finial, very similar to the way I started one on my prototype. In case you're not familiar with the prototype, I can't remember if you were on here when I've made the prototype before or when I've talked about it. But here's the prototype. And what you'll see is on the end here, I'm going too far the wrong direction. There we go. Stay. Dag nabbit. Wow. I've got the blade, I don't know. We can call it a ricasso, but I don't think it's a ricasso. It's sort of a transition to make so your finger will slide in off that way instead of across the blade. A bolster, integral bolster, the tang, which would be a hidden tang when it's done, but this tang I didn't make wide enough. Most people think wide this way. Deep enough? I don't know what the right way to say that is. Anyway, I didn't make it good enough so I could actually drill through it and be sure that I wouldn't cause any problems. And then it goes into the stem that becomes the loop. And then with the leaf finial that I would form in such a way as to lay neatly and not cause, pokage or consternation. But that's the goal. It's all just a loose vision in my head. The new version of this, the blade is a little bit different because I tried to do something with the what I've seen with other blades where they take and cut off the tip so that when they bevel it, it goes straight again. Curves, becomes like a kind of a Bowie kind of look. But it didn't work. And it doesn't matter because really what I've accomplished is now I've got something that's more of a stabby because it'll have a bit of a bevel on this side too. False edge, if you will. So that's what I'm working on is this part, since this part is now forged forged complete. It's ready for the light grind work that I have to do on it. You also missed the fact that I turned my bolt jaw tongs into offset bolt jaw tongs. So they're kind of not bolt jaw anymore, but hey, you know, it means now I have the ability to hold on to a flat bar or blade. So that gets you caught up. That, and I had a short spiel on why I bother. Why I bother with the blacksmithing, why I bother with the video part, which is a challenge all of its own. Some of that is because I would love the job of developer evangelist. But, developer relations, developer evangelist. What I haven't bothered to do yet is prove to people actually I can talk about tech, not just talk in front of a camera. So, I don't know. That's just one of those dream positions I probably won't get anytime soon. I think of myself as a passable developer, a theoretical architect and engineer, and basically a jack of all trades, which has served me well, but has made it so that progression in my career will always be generalist, not specific. And that's not awful, but the thing I enjoy the most in my career is helping others improve, get better with the technology. So typically what ends up happening is I get better at a technology just enough so I can start helping others get better at the technology. And that's kind of developer relations, except they do it while getting a lot better with said technology. There we go. Now I'm not worried that any of my transitions is going to be a problem, and let's start working on the back part. The stem, sorry. Yeah, let's get that hot again. I'm thinking that I don't know if I'll actually need all of this bulk for a stem, but the goal is to start working it in such a way that I get to this about the size of stem I need, and then I stop and then transition the tang the rest of the way towards it. So, yeah, and with the bias, I think towards. It's not able to be seen right now, which means I need to actually adjust that, but a bias towards the top of the tang. So the leaf can loop and go under. Yep, that's the goal. So in the long run, I'll end up having to move the leaf up towards the top instead of towards the bottom. So in other words, I basically built the leaf upside down. What else is new? This is what happens when it's not something thought of ahead of time. The Jackson TT. The Jackson TT. Now I have to wonder if that is the Jackson I know from, but this is on YouTube. So you're going to have to let me know who you are, Jackson. But what we are making, and when I say we, what I mean is I have an audience of amazing Smiths who help me make decisions along the way from time to time when I get stymied as to what the right way to do something is. This is my first go at a barbecue knife, and it looks really pretty at the blade. Looks really pretty in general, but it turns out I made the tang not tall enough to drill through to put the pins through for the handle scales. So we are making the second version, and as my buddy said, that's what he intended, was for me to make one for myself. And this has been a great knife. It's sharp. It's been quenched. I don't remember how I quenched it, to be honest, but I did quench it. I did normalize it. I did all the things. And then got to this point when I was like, how the heck am I going to do these? I got to right here when I was like, how am I going to put a handle on this? And that's where it fell through. So what'll end up happening is I'll end up turning this into a blacksmith's knife, and that's perfectly fine. And it'll be probably the project I do next, just so I can say this is done and off my plate. Because I don't want to become like Yamez, who starts a project and never finishes it, and has 10 of them sitting on his back shelf. And I'm saying that seriously and jokingly. I'm not trying to degrade or diminish Yamez. He literally said that's what he does. So I am as bad as he is, and I don't want to. That blade has been sitting there on my shelf for a year and a half. And this blade has not been started in that year and a half as I try to think through what I need to do and also work on other things. So I figure it's long past due for me to make my buddy's barbecue knife. So that's what I'm doing. Drift the holes. You know what? I hadn't even thought about the fact that I could actually probably just create a very, very thin slitting chisel. That's not a bad idea, Rob. I may very well give that a try. Well, Jackson, I appreciate you coming by. Are you a blacksmith yourself? Because if you are, you found a channel where a bunch of us hang out, and you also need to come over to Yamez's live stream. I should say it's Yamez, Adam, and Alexis. They do that's the Transcendental Blacksmith. No, Transcendental. Oh, come on, I know this one. Scroll back and I will tell you. Dag nabbit. Transcendental Artist Studio. There you go. Transcendental Artist Studio. There's Adam, which is Speargrass Forge, and then you've got Yamez over at Island Metal Forge. And every Sunday at Island Metal Forge, 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Pacific, they do what is known in the community as Blacksmith Church, but it's actually the Impractical Blacksmith Podcast. So if you like podcasts, the Impractical Blacksmith Podcast. But come on over, hang out with this same group of people plus more, because not everybody from there comes over here. I'm very appreciative of those who do. And you'll get into a nice community of folks, and I mean an inclusive community, not. I haven't met any jerks yet. Setting aside Ben, I haven't met any jerks yet. So, bladesmith primarily. So that's funny. You're coming in as I am creating a kitchen knife. Let's switch here. Kitchen knife, outdoor kitchen, for my buddy. I am not a bladesmith, so you're going to see me making so many mistakes that drive you nuts. But I am going to listen to Granddad's there, and I think I'm going to make a very tiny splitting chisel. And just because it's my knife, I can do anything I want with this one without any worry that I'm going to cause trouble. And slot chisel and do a tiny little slot punch and then drift it wider, and there you go. That could be a lot of fun. Swords, daggers, and medieval devices. Ooh, that'd be fun. Um, is your channel called The Jackson TT? Yeah, Shane, that's probably true. I'm not here to try and please anybody except me, um, and create a place where we can have good community. Um, uh, old screwdriver. Ooh, I have one of those. Thanks. I will definitely do that. That'll be fun. We'll do that on camera because, abusing tools is a fun thing to show people how to do. Don't try this at home, kids. I'm literally at home, kids. And also, eat your dessert before dinner, except kids. Always eat your dinner before dessert. The rest of us have earned the privilege. Uh. All right. Let's pause on the silliness long enough to get another part of this leaf done. Or, yeah, part of it. I'm not going to get the whole thing done, that's for sure. Oh, you missed the fun, though, Thomas. I created a pair of offset tongs. I took my old ugly pair of bolt jaw tongs and turned them into offset tongs. So that's what we do. We do things that would probably drive other smiths nuts. Real smiths, that is. I think there might be a real smith or two in this chat that put up with us because we're fun people. And Thomas, since you don't know us, I will say Ben's a fun guy too. We find him growing in the fields all over the place. All right. Switch over there. Let's continue. Whipping the heck out of this piece of metal. Come on. There we go. We'll smooth things up a little. That's the one thing about drawing out over the horn that's nice is, oof, boy, does that ring. That's hard on my ears. Is it kind of self-smooths because it's not such an aggressive drawing out. So I'm going to put that back in the fire there for a second. I'm going to put in earplugs because my watch will probably tell me just a second ago that I reached some decibels that are not good for my ears. To hang out with or to not hang out with there, Jurgen? I got to scroll back. I want to see if he commented that indeed Jackson's channel is just called uh, the Jackson TT, because I always go follow the people who follow me. And if you haven't followed me yet, what you waiting on? Let's go find out if you are indeed a channel I can follow. I don't find a The Jackson TT, sadly, so you're going to just have to tell us if you got a channel. Oh, you don't? Oh, well. Um, so how did Jurgen know that you're a bladesmith? He must know who you are, is my best guess. You can always follow me also up on Facebook. Just like here, it's Jack Pines Blacksmithing. I'm very creative in naming. I am a software engineer by trade, and for me, naming has always been about making it easy to understand what the heck is going on. So Jack Pines Blacksmithing is pretty easy to understand. I have a web site called jackpinesblacksmithing.com. It'll take you right there. Um, I have another website that's jackpines.info. Why? Did you need some information on Jack Pines for professional purposes? You can go to jackpines.info. It's like that's how naming works for me. Not creative. It isn't about being um, narcissistic. It's about making it easy for people to know what the heck I'm trying to talk about. And honestly, I don't care if people go to the sites at all. It's just an easy way for me to get people to find me if they need to. I don't hide from the world. Maybe I should. The world is not always a nice place, but just not in my nature to do that. All right, let's go ahead and bring in some more of that. There we go. And we need a little more stem than that if I'm going to loop it around. So let's go get it. I guess I will need that whole mass. It's time to start shifting it the other direction. I got. Yep. Make a thinner stem. That'll get the length I need. Scrolling back. I thought that Ben was more of a thigh guy, but you know, work we forged with 3,000 tons hydraulic press, and here I was bidding on a 3-ton press. Wow, that's good, good. I'm getting the right part hot. It's always nice to see that. Let's go ahead and give that a little turn and pull it in just a little. There we go. That's where we're going to be working. So I got fresh eyes on this live stream here with Jackson. What do you think of the stream layout, the theme, the cameras, etc., etc., etc.? I didn't mean to reduce my mic. It might have switched mics, though. Hold on, let me double check and see which mic it switched to. Because it definitely switched mics. Dag nabbit. Properties. Default. No. External mic. External mic. External mic. There we go. So what happened was it switched to my headphones that I put in that are also noise protection. So thank you for letting me know that, Daniel. So I was saying, Jackson, thank you for subscribing. Dude, thank you. I really appreciate it. You gotta let me know because these are your fresh eyes on this channel. This is a new theme, but in general, the idea as to camera layout and scenes and so forth has stayed pretty much the same. I have added, what some could call annoying noises, only for the transition. So let me know if you think it's good, bad, ugly. Doesn't mean I'll necessarily change anything, but hey, Kevin, this is a family-friendly show, which is why I'm glad you didn't say anything more than that. Cool, cool. Yeah, at this point, I only do live streams in case that was one of the things you were wondering. You might have already gone looking and noticed, but I only do live streams, and that's that is only because I have every intention of getting out here at night, only to have my nights always chewed up by working too late, getting too frustrated by the things I don't know that are necessary to know to be effective in my job. And when it comes to imposter theory, I got that in spades. So, hey, that actually worked out well. Look at that. That kind of benefited me. Ha! All right. Is that enough to make a loop? It will be once I thin it out just a little bit more. We've got a nifty transition there. It's not central. We'll make it central. You guys can't see what I'm talking about. Good job with the cameras. All right, so what I was saying is this blob here isn't central. I would like to keep just that little bit at the end of transition so that the stem has something to transition from. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it central, number one. I'm probably going to end up squaring it off just like this side will be squared off when I get it ready for putting the scales on. This side, just in case you weren't seeing that. Square it off. I'll end up squaring it off here. We'll get it central. We'll try and get it about the same thickness as this here. It looks like it might be. Once I get it central, I'll know for sure. And then we'll get the stem a little bit thinner. Like I said, I accidentally made this beneficial to me because I can come in here. I was able to clean this up and have everything flat. And then come in here and do the same thing. So that turned out really nice, accidentally. But like I said, this I think I'm going to thin out just a little bit more. I'm going to knock the corners off first, just so I can have a clue at what I'm looking at. And then I will decide how much thinner it needs to be. I think if I remember correctly, yeah, here's this one. We're almost to the same length there. So the difference is I didn't leave the lump here for transition purposes, and that's fine. This time I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to make this a natural transition. We'll end up going from square to octagon to round. I think that'll look pretty. um, into this, the round stem. So there's that. All right, let's stop talking about it and see what I can do. Let's push back the coals that want to come popping out. I've got it piled up much higher than it needs to be. As a matter of fact, I can also, don't grab that, Jack. That would have been bad. Let's use a pot holder here. Nope, that's still a left hand. There's a right hand. We'll grab the pot holder, then we'll grab the hot metal sitting on top of the forge. Put it in here. So I have an incline so that it doesn't want to come tipping out when I set it in there and let go. Good, good, good. All right. Yep, there we go. And now I can take off the pot holder. Let's see what Jackson's been saying here. Oh, I love it. Great angle, anvil angle. Nice to be able to see your face. Transition is super unobtrusive. Thank you. Jack Solingen is just around the corner, 35 kilometers. The apple won't fall down far from the pear tree. Where Solingen. What kind of steel, out of curiosity? Ah, there's a reason this is being made for my buddy. And I'll show you. Everybody else already knows the answer to this. There it is. Put it where I always put hot metal. Right where the old man's knees get hurt trying to get it. Oh, there we go. Let's draw back out again so you can actually see it. Ta-da! This is a coil. I've already cut off several pieces to make tooling, punches, drifts. Well, not drifts too much, but drifts, chisels, things like that, out of this. And then I made the first blade out of this. This is from I believe it's a 76 Chevy Nova. He gave me both of them because he went for beefier coils when he upgraded his suspension to make it into a racing Nova. So let's move that way just a hair. Then bring it back this way. There we go. And then bring it back in. See if we can get the focus just a little better. There we go. Draw back out just a hair, just in case I want to do some cleanup work on the horn. All right. Is that a 5/8 coil? Well, I don't have my caliper out here anymore. I need to buy a metal caliper. I ended up taking the carbon fiber reinforced plastic one back into the house for use with my 3D printer that I got bought. And I need to buy a pair of metal ones. But if I can find what I did with... where the heck did I... Oh, there it is. The hook ruler that John Switzer taught us all how to make. I should be able to figure this out. We'll go ahead and set that there. We'll grab that coil again. And we will use the hook ruler. And that's a quarter. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5/8 inch. You've got a good eye there, Daniel. Oh, no, wait a minute. That's Rob. You got a good eye there, Rob. You know, that's the downside of using fun names for your channels is it's you guys. I wouldn't say a downside. It's a good thing because it makes me actually work for it. Try to remember what your actual names are when I see your channel names. But yeah, you got a good eye. So I have a guillotine tool. You guys must have been looking away when I was using it last time. It is not sized properly for this yet. I'm working on that. This was previously sized for my Trenton anvil, my 75-pound anvil. So I did work to get it a little bit better, but it could still be sized up more, or the right solution is probably cut that off and put on a whole new post. That's probably the right answer, but I used it. I did set down with, I remember showing it, some rusty, yeah, there we go, rounded. Out here in the Pacific Northwest moisture, everything rusts pretty quickly. Now I've got some other blanks. These were bought from Daniel. Trust me, I'm a blacksmith. I've got these blanks to go in there as well. They're straight, and I could have probably, what's it called? Butcher in at that spot, but I intended to do a little bit of light grinding anyway, no matter what. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's see. Yeah, these roosters go off like all day long. So what can I tell you? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bladesmiths out there who bristle at using recycled steel. Um, if I were to make a chopper or something that had to stand up to such abuse, like I am going to be making a machete, and the reason I'm going to be making a machete is the piece of crap machete that I have, um, the uh, the edge on the front 3.5 inches looks like somebody, and I don't think it was me, but it could have been as I was hacking the blackberry bramble. I could have hit something, but it cracked and is deformed badly. And I'm like, no blade should behave like that. We've watched enough Forged in Fire, all of us, I'm sure, to know no blade should handle like that. So it lends me to believe that the things that come out of the big box stores is stamped metal and never heat treated, etc. Just crap. So I'm going to make my own. You can do flute grooves and other profiles with the. I would need a different kind of. Yes, you're absolutely right, but I would need a different kind of guillotine tool. I think one that I could actually walk in sideways too, right? So let me see this one. I don't think this one has that. Yeah, sadly, this one is not built in that fashion. It's got solid pieces of metal putting it together. So Dan Moss is a myth. Chinese machetes from Harbor Freight. Yep, that's pretty much, I'm pretty sure that's where I got it from. And man, is it crap. I was so disappointed when I went to grab my machete to do, you believe it or not, I was going to use it and did use it to just cut the top off of a pumpkin. Um, I basically was taking the pointed end and shoving it in the top to cut the, you know, stem out. That way you can set it at an angle so you can set it back in and it won't fall out. Um, and I was like shocked to see the state of the thing. And I've got some lawnmower blades. They're also not the best quality steel for such things, but I bet that I could make them into a machete that's of better quality than than anything. But the fact is, if I were a real bladesmith and I were actually wanting to sell my wares, I would never use recycled metals, um, because I want to be able to stand behind whatever product I make. And 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 in this shop, I don't think I would be making Damascus. I don't have a press. I don't have it's all me, my hands. I will have a treadle hammer here soon, um, but that's not what they're made for. So if I were to make blades, um, I would probably, yeah, we're getting there. I would probably just do single sourced single metal blades, and they would definitely be coming from a good source, not found material. Even though I live walking distance from an auto scrapper, where I could get all of the leaf springs I could ever need at a reasonable rate. Go pull them. All right. Let's continue this process. I think I will, now that I don't need to be so aggressive about it. I don't know how that's doing your ears, but thankfully, well, I can tell you that it must not be good, because the turkeys don't make gobbling noises for nothing. They didn't like it. I don't know if you guys can hear them, but it's funny to me. Yep, 1095. That'd be the stuff. You guys have listed a bunch of them. I know 5160. I know 1095. I know 15 and 20. I don't know all the others. Oh, absolutely. That's what most of my stuff is. So, Jackson, just so you know, I got to show you. You've already seen it once. I'm going to show it to you again after I, get my blade in a place where I can let it stay warm. All right. I'm going to leave it right there. These tongs that I said I adjusted to be a blade tongs, they're not going to last much longer, because I've made mistakes in making these. Here, let me show you in this view. Get it. Okay, good. There's that. There's the focus level. You can see that right there really good. That's really bad. That's going to snap off any day now. Why? Because this repurposed metal was too... Let's go ahead and get this back to where we're focused here again. That's good. Two railroad spikes. And I overheated this area right here when I was in the making of it. And I know for a fact that's going to snap off one day. How do I know for a fact? Because it happened to another set that I made. They're basically two of a kind. One was flat jaw tongs, this one's not. Here's another set that I made from railroad spikes of flat jaw tongs. There we go. A set that I made from railroad tongs. So I love using found steel for my purposes. It's also, because I don't go off and buy a whole lot of steel. I don't have a lot of steel to work with, to be honest. I have more now. I did actually buy a bunch of steel from an estate sale, but you know, I love using reclaimed steel, and I don't like wasting steel. Um, so, all right. Out of a wheel bearing. Oh yeah, that had to be cool. In case that did get, yeah, let me read that out loud. So a lot of times the posts will end up in the on screen, but you might not be able to see them just because the lighting of the anvil. Um, it said, yeah, I mean, known steel is always better, but there is nothing that feels better than repurposing something that looks like scrap. I made a knife out of my car's wheel bearing, and it has been great. Um, and yeah, Jackson, my bot also will remove posts, but will also block your ability to post from time to time if you get if you make the same mistake too often. I think that's when it happens. I don't know. I'm not on the side that where the mistakes can be made. I just remember setting some things up. Yeah, shipping's a killer. No, it's one of those. I'm doing good. I've got a whole bunch of horseshoes I can work with. I got railroad spikes to work with, and then I've got a bunch of plate steel to work with. So I'm good for a bit. I got a bunch of uh, yeah, a lot of plate steel. I ended up getting a chunk like this, really thick chunk of plate steel, which nope, go towards the light, Jack. I don't know what I'm going to do with these yet. I don't have a plasma cutter or anything like that. So clearly, I would end up just sitting there and cutting it with a bandsaw for a while or something like that. But I've got metal to work with. I just haven't needed to put it to use yet. I've got rods like this, and of course, who knows what it is? It's got a point on the end. But does that tell me what it is? Not really. What'll I do with it? I'll spark test it. That's what I'll do with it. Then I'll decide what I'll do. Now, one thing I picked up at that estate sale that I think will be useful is that. That's wrapped around the post of. It's got one of these on each end. I don't care. It's just more weight as far as I'm concerned, and that'll hold pieces down that don't get held down real well with my hold fast. We'll see. But I've been wanting a big heavy chain like that for a while, so I picked up a good chunk of metal at this estate sale and for a reasonable, very reasonable price. So yep, the bot's there to try and prevent abusive people. Thankfully, very rarely do I have abusive people show up on this channel, and I have the ability to block them. So occasionally we get the love bot on here. It's like most of us Smiths are old enough to know better. You don't say. All right. Let's go ahead and warm that back up again. I'm going to get it warmer back here so I can try and get it central. But I like where it is at the moment on the other side. I need to get it central on this way, but it's definitely good that way. We're getting to right about where I want it to be. The real question is, will this turn around and make the loop that I want? So we'll figure that out in a minute. Let's get it central first. Might have to heat it up and get the stem out of the way just so I don't accidentally burn it up. Yeah, I need to get a magnet, but you know, the magnet would get rid of the noise for the horn is really where I need it. I have a couple here. Let's see if it does any good. We'll put that there. I know I had another one. I melted both of them. Turns out, believe it or not, welding magnets are made of plastic and melt. That's the pair I don't want up front. It's got a hole in it. I probably should throw them away. And that glove, those gloves are fine. All right. There we go. I know I had another magnet here, but now I don't see it, so I give up. That wasn't put back where it belongs, and therefore I didn't know where it was for all this time. Oh, Jackson, if you're going to hang out on this channel, you're going to discover Jack has a problem with keeping track of stuff and staying on task and idle chit-chat about things and not getting shit done. It's part of the fun of the show, right? Yeah, this is why I'm going to show this. I was making a bottle opener out of a railroad spike, and this is precisely why the tongs have a problem. If I am not careful about the temperature I'm working at or things like that, it develops cracks really easily. The steel that I have for railroad spikes. So yeah. So that's a dead. I have to basically cut that off so I can make a shorter one. I was like, why in the world is that over there? Okay, I'm not going to find the other magnet, but we'll see if that actually deadened the sound. It'd be nice if it did, right? Let's go this way. Let's finish getting it hot. Bacon? It is time for bacon. What time is it? It's 11:01. Holy moly, it's time. It is time to say, spin a show. That doesn't ring as much, but I think I'm going to go ahead and find myself another magnet. It does deaden it, but I think that it could be done better. We'll see. But it is 11:01. That means it is time for me to warm up the blade and then bury it. Let's see if I can get this. It's not a vital thing that I stop at 11 today, but it is always nice to hold true to my intentions with my wife's desire for me to be done and available around the 11 o'clock to noonish hour so we can have a little us time. All right, that looks pretty good. I'll worry about that next time. Let's turn it around. Put this in the fire. And since I do have a newbie on the channel, I'm going to take just that hair bit longer to explain what I say at the end of every show. I do need to widen that up to the length of the blade, which is a 3. Daniel, just so you know, this is an interesting forge. You can see it in the corner. I'm going to go ahead and put the full picture. This forge, in case you weren't here earlier, is a Whitlock forge. And what's special about it is it's not meant for burning coal, though it can, as it does. It's meant for burning wood. It's a charcoal forge that self-feeds the charcoal from the wood that you feed it. It's slanted as a V because you put your wood up here. It may have some charcoal in the bottom to start things off, but then you put your wood up here, and as it chars up, it becomes fuel for the forge. And it's a dial forge in that this thing I was working with just this one air hole right here, but now I've opened it up so I've got 3 air holes to work with. So this fire is going to travel back, and you can see the smoke coming up off of it, where some green coal's still in there as it's bringing up the heat back there. I'm going to go ahead and, yep, that's cooled off to touch. Lower that back down. I'm going to go ahead and throw some green coal on top, just so it has some insulation. It's got fire bricks on the bottom. It's probably not as good as vermiculite. That'll be the next one I do. I'll go buy some vermiculite. Might as well do it right for my buddy. But yeah, this live stream goes every Sunday from 9 a.m. Pacific until 11 a.m. Pacific. So please feel welcome. Let other Smiths you happen to know we exist. We'd love the camaraderie and the community. Also check out the show before my show over at Island Metal Forge. They're actually the inspiration. I can tell you, Yamez is one of the inspirations that got me started in all this. Well, in thinking I could actually do it. Let me put it that way. Yamez is definitely Speargrass Forge is, because Speargrass Forge is the one that taught me all I really need is a box of dirt and a hair dryer. So we try to end up at a wrap up here at 11. Yes, that's right. Island Metal Forge will go live again tonight. There's also a good chance that way better than any vermiculite bucket. Really? That's good to know. Don't weld magnets. Yeah. Island Metal Forge is going to go live tonight to do some welding, some forging. There's also a good chance that Alexis might go live on the same channel, if it's possible. I don't know. As she likes to, give some thoughts that are on her mind, random exposés about life in general, and it's quite entertaining. Speargrass Forge over on his channel seems to go live a bunch lately, but not on a schedule. He's setting up a new shop, and so that's what's going on there. So, yeah, you've got a whole community here of folks who just enjoy the craft. Um, if you pay attention, you'll also find other people in this chat who have their channels where they post up some of their stuff that they do, or they have Instagrams. I'm over on Instagram as well. I think over there I'm Pines Jack. Um, but if you just go to my Jack Pines Blacksmithing, that'll take you to Facebook, which will then take you to Instagram if you so wish to find it, because they're linked accounts. All right, I'm going to leave it at that, and then I'm going to switch here to the ugliest tree we got, and share with you the. I'm going to turn this light off. It's not necessary. It's killing my vibe here. There we go. Share with you the ending I always give, which is love and light. And that sounds like a nice greeting, right? A nice way to say, here's what I wish for you. No, no. Every now and then I have to give this little talk. This is not about what I wish for you. This is what I wish you to put out into the world. All right? We have enough hate, disdain, lack of acceptance in this world. It's time to step away from that. I don't care what your political beliefs are, as long as they don't involve othering other human beings. And I mean all human beings. The ones that cross the border that you think are illegal, you still have to give them love and light instead of talking about shooting the people who are stealing from, shoplifting. No, that's a no-no. Those people who are shoplifting are doing it for a reason. We need to give them love and light. Figure out the situation. Figure out how to stop the situation that's causing that to happen. We have people who don't look like us, don't dress like us, don't think like us. They're human beings. Love and light. That's the challenge I give at the end of every one of my live streams. Do your darndest to be those people. And I know that the people who stay with me on this channel feel the same way. So, as I always say, love and light.